10 seconds. We're gonna talk about right here. We're gonna talk about what it do, people? We here with another episode of You Wasn't There. Shut up. Yeah, so today we're gonna talk about does racism and white power, or what word would it be? White supremacy. Do it still matters? Do are black people still being held back? And we're talking about the United States for people that's might be overseas or other countries that regions, continents. So how you want to kick this up? Strong topic.
It's a strong topic. It's still relevant. I think it's still prevalent. I think it just comes in different forms now, so it looks different because the landscape of society, the economy has changed.
I agree, but I still think it's the same. Honest, just my opinion, just my take. I think we still got Jim Crow laws. I think we still got cotton picking fields with the prison industrial system in a way. You work in there in the shops, sign shops, furniture shops, upholstery shops. I still think it's places that black people know they cannot go. Like you never hear white people say, "Oh, he acts so white. He's welcome to the cookout." You hear black people all the time saying, "Oh, he welcome to the," you know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's jobs that black people know they can't get. Mm-hmm. It's places they know they can't walk in. Like it's certain places like a white person. Then the saying these days is, you know how they use. You know what I'm saying? White people still fake fear us, but do the most harm to us.
I mean, it's still all that's true. So it's still the same, but I feel like it can be dressed up differently now. Like, so I don't feel like it's changed as far as they don't, mistreat us or mishandle us as people. They do it more so certain times or certain things they'll do it discreetly or overtly where the average person might not be paying attention to. So like us being in a nice hotel, you might see somebody come up, a white couple, their kids or whatever like that. Oh yeah, we got you. Take care of them right away. They have us sitting over there waiting, or when we walk in, they immediately attend to us, not because they want to help us.
Business.
They like, why you here?
Yeah,
what the fuck you doing here? Oh, excuse me. But they're trying to figure out why you in there. So same thing in restaurants.
Like in stores. Yeah. And this may have been going on back then. All my older senior citizens, like black people being the Uncle Toms, yeah, acting worse than the white people in white establishments towards black people, things of that nature.
Yeah, for sure.
So do you think, what about being held back?
Well, it's always going to be a level of resistance. So yeah, we're going to always be held back because it's their world.
Well, their country.
Their country. You know what I'm saying? When that's what I'm saying. You create your world. Because whatever, that's why our kids live in such a fantasy world, because there's no limits to it. You know what I'm saying? Their dreams, everything, they can dream and say, I want to be a butterfly, I want to be an astronaut, I want to be a president.
They definitely change. Yeah.
But that stuff gets watered down, it gets limited because society, adults, reality steps in and tells you like, oh no, this is the ceiling. You can't be this, you can't be that. So I mean, I feel like I feel like it's gonna always be some part where you're being held back though, every time.
Yeah, and even like communities, because it's you got gentrification. Like in our city, I'm hailing from DC. He's hailing from Baltimore. Our city is certain parts that's gentrified, and then you can go right up the street to the parts that's not gentrified, and they look like the 80s. Yeah, sure. Crackheads still on the corner, dudes, open air drug markets. Then the police presence, There's a little difference. Police response time, actual businesses and involvements in the communities, and community itself. So I hear a lot of black people like, oh, y'all make excuses. You could do what you want, and y'all just always, how long y'all gonna hold on to slavery? We free, we this, we just, it's y'all holding y'all self back if y'all still holding on to that. What you think about that?
To an extent, that can be true to an extent. Two things can be true at the same time. So to an extent, yeah. So if you want to say, you know, the reason why I went to prison is because I was black. No, the reason why I might have been, you know, singled out, this and the third, might be because I was black, but also I was active. So in the decisions I decided to make, the community I was brought up in, it's because I was black. The decisions I made, it's because of the decisions I made.
And I actually, how you know? And I actually look at, honestly, I look at it opposite. I look at it different. I look at everything is created by systematic racism. So the standards that it give us to live by, and when you take awareness out, like if you go to suburban neighborhoods, it's like you're not gonna see a bunch of churches, you're not gonna see a bunch of liquor stores, you're not gonna see a bunch of curry outs, you're not gonna see a bunch of 24-hour tobacco stores. So it's like these things are still pulled and garnered and cultivated inside of our community. So it's like, what impression would that give to easily influenced the impressions of kids?
I agree with that.
Yeah, but I'm gonna say the AC.
I agree with that part. The only thing about it is that that's why I say two things can be true at the same time. Because the systemic racism has set up a whole ecosystem in our community, certain kind of way, right? And that's why I say like now, capital is the new tool that we're using. That's why I say it's the same thing. We're just using different things that are calling you, that are telling you that you can't go here, you can't do this, you're not allowed to have that. They'll say, okay, this neighborhood has to have a certain median income for us to build this Harris Teeter or this Whole Foods here. Communities with this certain median, we'll just put a Burger King there. We'll just put a shop, right, or you know, a stop shop and say whatever, you know, the small urban community shopping centers are, or just be a corner store. Different things in there. So they use capital now more so as the tool to attack us. So I understand that, but at the end of the day, we still gotta make sense. But I know that the cards are stacked against us. So it's like
Yeah, that's
both.
see that, and that's why I say that, because he's given, like, if you don't have, so the things that you already fighting against. Now, once a person become aware, that's different. So, like for me, when once I started becoming aware of certain things and learning certain things, I was like, dang, it's not fault that I'm here, because of what I was bred into. So if you fall under this influence, and this influence, it's like when we say, hey man, Shorty got it all, man. He swore you. We been like, Mom, girl, how you get caught up in the streets? And how you get caught up in selling drugs? And how you get caught up in behavior? Because the influences are not there. Opposed to if you from where we from, it's not the how you get caught up in. It's what was set up for you to be, for sure. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, if these things are still systematically set up, like you said, as far as putting certain things in certain neighborhoods, or how they gentrify neighborhoods, I just look at it like, if you're born in these communities, fighting against something from birth, and you don't even know it. And you don't even know it. So it's like, and as now back to speaking on the Jim Crow laws, it was just for being black, no colors here, no colors here. Now it's no felons here, no felons here. So it's like these situations, scientifically proven, will even carry out in certain foods due to mentally and the growth that it do and hormones that it let out. Drinking what you drinking from these liquor stores, cheap liquor, and all these things that you only can afford when you're not averaging the income in the house or long food stamps or whatever, and you get hooked on these alcohols that just burn your brain cells, and it's like, so you get caught up in this that leads to whatever type of crime that you get caught up in, you're in the system. So by the time you become aware and learn everything, you're a felon now. Okay.
So since things because we know that the decisions that we make,
but we don't know at that time.
no, I'm trying to say we know the decisions that we make based off of awareness, knowledge, a lot of the time, right? So, you know how to say ignorance can be bliss? That's true. That's what that
It could be once you. So it's like if especially if you've never been nowhere. If you've never been nowhere, and you don't know what your surroundings are, and you think this is the world. You think your world is the world. It's like, dang. So then you got the people that made it out that get fall under these influences for whatever reason. Everybody got their reasons why they made it out. So they look at the people that didn't make it out like, if I could do it, you could do it. Which can be true, but when we look at the roots of how they made it out, it could be connected to things that this person or that person didn't have access to. A certain parent, or some outside influence, a certain mentor, or some aspirations or inspirations. Like, a person could just see something on TV and want it, but I might not got cable, or I might not even have TV, or I might not even have access to certain TV because I got 6 siblings in the house, and I'm always on the last episode phone with a different remote, or different things of that. So,
opportunity and accessibility. Those are the two things that literally change landscape. Many men's stories.
because it's like it's not no coincidence that when you look at the number and the skill be like this. When it comes to, you know what I'm saying, the black and browns,
That's intentional. You know, that's intentional. You know, even down to the point of, you know, how they set up, I ain't gonna say reparations, but just funds to give to certain communities. So like, you know, right now it's an influx of Hispanics, people who are Latin descent coming to this country and getting a lot of benefits. I know people that work in that field, they're going out and just get benefits easily.
But yeah, that happened back in the day with the Vietnam and and they told them to say that they are Chinese because you know Vietnamese. That's not encouraged.
With the Native American thing.
Yeah.
So you say you want to send Native Americans, something like that. Same thing with even with just the STFU when they do, you know, MBEs, what is it? Women-owned business, minority-based minority businesses, and but anyway, when they do those things, you know, it's people that literally just like, all right, the white man, like, all right, I'll make my wife 51% owner. Now, not only am my white man getting the surplus of business, now I got this on the end. So when they need to meet the quota of having minorities or women-owned businesses, and 1% they got a business that they got to give to them, this meets my criteria. This meets my quota. So now I'm not violating any laws of business by not employing or doing contracts or giving funds to these type of businesses, because even though this is a white man with white wife, she's a woman, so it's a minority owned business, so it's a woman owned business. So now I'm meeting that quota, so they just still keeping it within that cycle. So it's the same thing, but how do we beat it? Is the question. You can identify every day.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. Honestly, I really don't think it's a beating it inside of here. Because no matter, because every battle there's won. It's so many. I think it's a infinite number of battles here. I don't think it's a big. I don't. But you got to take the good with the bad because certain freedoms that you do have is not allotted in other communities. I thought they were but yeah, certain freedoms here is not allotted in other societies.
For sure.
Then you take like being black, we're the only people that was enslaved that never got received any type of reparations.
Thanks.
In the world.
Thanks. See, I asked that question. I proposed that question more so rhetorical as opposed to actually finding a solution because honestly, I don't feel like it's going to be a solution. Because some people are like, knowledge is key. Yeah, I know a lot of broke, knowledgeable people.
Yeah, and you can have the knowledge is dangerous though.
It is
because the knowledge can create excuses.
Yeah.
Like
analysis paralysis. Yeah. You know so much that you don't even you can't even implement it now.
Mm-hmm.
It's every day. Every day.
Yeah. It's a slippery slope to be on when you're speaking on race in this country, racism in this country, stereotyping in this country, prejudice in this country. It's a slippery slope. But I just like for people to be aware that it's there and it's still there, opposed to saying it's not.
Well, I think they should say if we're gonna say it, we gotta be real with the conversation to say acknowledge that racism is there.
Yeah.
Right? Everybody has prejudice. So people try to punch the two together, and that's why they get they try to be equal with I don't, I'm not racist because I don't say this or I don't do this or I have this type of friend, that type of friend. So
and that show they don't even know what racism is.
Exactly.
None of that
means that.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So the actual awareness of racism, that's what needs to be the conversation, not the people like, oh, this prejudice. We all got prejudice because we might say, oh, I'm gonna look out for a dude more than I'm gonna look out for a female, or a female more than I look out for a dude. Right? Somebody might say
that's
that.
fact.
So that's a prejudice.
And then people don't even understand the fact of fighting racism.
Mm-hmm.
I don't even believe black people can fight racism because it's not our problem.
It's
racism. It's their problem.
Yeah.
So we're trying to fight an issue with
a mental illness.
Yeah, and some white people, the ones that don't believe racism exists, they're a huge part of the problem because they're not combatant. Like, it's not our problem. We can't fight it. We didn't create it. We didn't start it. We didn't, like, it's not our problem.
They delusional. If someone says that if they're white and believe that it doesn't exist, they're delusional. But they also can be, and I'm a play God's advocate in this moment. They can be misinformed, and there's a slight bit of ignorance only because a lot of people only know what they've been told.
Fact.
And so when people get told something, I had a white cell buddy. When the movie Roots was on BET, it's less graphic. Like, it ain't even as bad as the actual movie. It came on BET. He came in and said, like, what's this? I was like, it's Roots. I was like, man, I'm gonna just watch it again. Like, he was like, what is it about? Since the movie Roots, it's about slavery. He's like, never saw it. Sat him down. He watched the whole series. He was damn near in tears. He was heartbroken. Like, this is what really happened. Like, I think it was worse than this. So then I started giving him books and teaching stuff. And then when he started learning more and more, he was like, "It's crazy. That's foul." He just was in such shock because he didn't know. They never informed him of that stuff.
That's big. That's big right there.
They don't teach him. You know what they teach
him? To experience that, to experience seeing a Caucasian not know the pain that was inflicted, because you have different type of mass struggles that happened. Like, you know, the Holocaust and
Cameroons and Cambodia.
and the Aztecs and the Mayans and the Incas. But it's like, we're the only people that was took from somewhere, stripped and brought somewhere else. Yes, you have conspiracy theorists that say we was native here and we was never brought here. This is our land. That's, if that's what you believe, if that's what you got enough, if that's what you stand on, I'm not taking nothing. I'm not telling. Just like some people believe the earth is flat. I'm not taking nothing from anybody. Whatever you believe, that feel like you have proof to. Because remember, who was that? Omar, the dude that had felt like he had definite proof that white people was from Mars.
Yeah, he thought white people was aliens. Everything about Earth calms them. Think about that.
Water, plants. Sun. Then when you think, people like, dang.
It's confirmation bias.
Yeah.
If I give you one thing to make you believe that can support what I'm saying, that's the confirmation bias. That's enough for me or whoever the person may be to run with it, and they will. And then they'll start finding other things, and other things will start making sense to go along with it if you have it, because you want to believe it. If I want to believe, like, and this phone is not a phone. This is a teleportation device. And they be like, well, how can you prove it? How can you prove it? How can you prove it? And I find just one thing, like, all right, how about the way the light projects up? Think about it. Have you ever woke up and you felt like you was somewhere else and then you back here? You was teleported. And then I go down a rabbit hole of just making up bring you all these quote unquote facts that make sense. Yeah, so it pile on, and now you believe it. And I'm believing it myself so much that you can't tell me otherwise.
The one thing that alarms me is when they meaning the powers to be or whomever in control to make decisions of changing things. It's like whitewashing the history again when they go to like the books like Huckleberry Finn and take nigga out and try to take the slave out of it, or like damn near try to erase slavery from history.
Yeah, they said they're gonna do that in some states. They're trying to take it out of the. You can't even teach it.
So it's like you could get tricked again. It's like being hoodwinked. Because if like how you said, your bunk break didn't know. So imagine black
he grew up
people
around white people. Like he one of those white guys that, and we had to talk about that too. But people would give him a pass. He said, I don't say the N word, but you know, I got friends that, you know, I grew up around black people in the neighborhood I was in. Like they say I can say it because I got.
Yeah, that's something that I ain't never. I just feel if you don't got no slaves in your blood, I don't believe that's something that to be. But then it's like people like, what about, you know what I'm saying, biracial people and things of that nature, and it's like I just still don't get on the
I don't let them say it.
I don't get on the
They can't say it around me. They don't call me.
Then they like, why y'all saying? I'm like, why are you worried about what I'm saying? Why are you in black people's business?
Why do you want to say it?
Yeah,
Why do you want to say it that much?
But why? I hate when they worry about why we say it. Or where it was used, it don't matter what it was used for. You know, it's devices and things that was used for one thing that's used for something else. Like vinegar. Like vinegar is a cleaning supply now. Like people, the raw vinegar, you can clean anything with it. Should I be mad? Like, no, that's for food. Bro. That's for, you know what I'm saying? So it's like, yeah, that's.
But no other cultures, no other group of people have these same discussions. They don't say we can't go to some Japanese people or, you know, some Jewish people or Hispanic people and ask them, can we call them, or Italian people, call them their racial slurs?
Or can we use it? Or why do y'all?
Why we can't call you wops?
Yeah, or why y'all call each other that?
Yeah.
We don't. It's never. It's not. It be on mass news. They trying to ban this in school, but I never seen them ban no other words or be worried about other races using that amongst each other.
Yeah.
Like it's
a fact.
You know what I'm saying? And that's another thing. It's like they, like the powers, everything that's be done is try to be stripped in a way, and it's just. I don't know. I just think awareness is key. Just knowing history and moving on, trying to make your life as best as possible. But I do believe people should be aware of what's going on and understanding that when you go apply for a bank loan, why you gotta have 10 times what a white person needs to secure that loan? Especially, and it depends on the bank. The first thing people say is try to go to a black-owned bank. Like,
But even if they go to a black-owned bank, the black-owned bank still, they're not supported as much because they're not, that's plentiful because they don't have the opportunity to be as easily accessible all around everywhere you go for a reason. And also, they're not popularized. They're not, they're not marketed to us or anybody really. They don't care if they fail.
and you know what questions I be having? Like, how do people feel like when evidence projects and shows like that how Fred Hampton's actually executed, assassinated, how it's evidence to show that Hoover put the Black Panther Party against the US organization, and how they wanted to exterminate the Black Panther
They
Party.
created the FBI for all that.
Yeah, and it's like that stuff is, and it's known that the government put crack in the hood. Like all
And
these
guns.
things are known, and guns. Even to this day, it's like the ammunition that these youngins got is insane. They don't even have credit cards, IDs, or anything. But the ammunition, like these guns coming from somewhere. But it's like the evidence that we have that the CIA actually put drugs in the hood. Whether they say they didn't know it was gonna do this to black people or whatever, but it's evidence showing that, and no one has not even no one. CIA still exists. It wasn't dismantled.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying? And stuff like that just goes to show, wow. You know what I'm saying? Like y'all putting all this behind. Y'all don't want people to say the N-word. The CIA is history shows that everything is done to black people, and they're not dismantled.
the whole N-word thing. The reason I will never subscribe to it is because saying the N-word is again stripping power from the history of the word.
Fact.
Because even when you go to say you're an addict, right? You gain power by going what they say. You go to NA, you go to AA, but you got to introduce yourself and say, "Hi, my name's such and I'm an addict." Right? The reason they make them do that, right? They empower them. They empower them so they can move on and move forward, and take steps to go to getting better. They don't say, "Oh, say your name," and then say, "I used to deal with dabble in drugs, or I tried, I experimented." No, you're an addict.
Right.
You gotta take that. You gotta take that power. You gotta take the word and you gotta strip the power from it and own it. Just like rape, anything else. People like, I don't want to talk about it. I can't speak on it. Once they can open up and talk about it, R word. You can't. Yeah, well, we gotta say R word. You feel me? So now, but when people need to talk about it, they can't really talk about it because it's kind of like, now you kind of like water it down.
Facts.
And it takes away the malice behind it.
Facts. No, I agree on that. My take on it is it's similar in notions that you pointed out, and the fact of just what it's tied to. Because even with black African American, or because when you look at the history of that was given to us.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It ain't like they had a committee of black people and they were like, yeah, this is what we're gonna do. Because African America is not even correct. Because Africa is a continent. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. African American, like when you have people that's of
no one's European American.
Yeah, no one's European.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? But they don't say that.
Yeah.
Actually, they just say they're American. Or they'll say, wherever they from, I'm Turkish American. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, it's too much. It's almost, racism is a culture in America.
That's deep. That's
It's a culture.
deep. It's a culture.
It's a culture. If you strip down the definition or the elements and aspects of what culture is, then you start realizing like that's really what it is. Like, and it's indoctrinated. Most people are indoctrinated behind indoctrinated into racism growing up.
That.
Just growing up.
And then, like you said, to play the devil advocate, like, I look at it from their end sometimes when it's like, okay, if I was, say for instance, like you got the older people, if I was 4, 5, 6 years old and my father and mother had slaves, then when I become 15, 16, 17 year old, slaves are free. Then when I become 20 something, they're damn near working in the same buildings as me. That'd be a hard.
Culture shock.
That's like that's hard. That's not something easy to just digest. That's why they say, you know what I'm saying, racism is the consequence of slavery. Because it's the same way in the streets. If someone was a sucker when we was little, and then you know it's a light switch started going hard. If you went away and came back and this person that was a sucker or just didn't have a backbone, and you start hearing it, they doing something, you like, oh, him? Lord such and such. And when even when you see it, you can see it, but it's still hard to get past what he was when you knew him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah. It's hard to get past. It's not easy. And even if you do get past it, you always want to be like,
I know you.
Yeah, like, man, or when you speak about him, like, yeah, shorty, but he wasn't always like that. I don't know what got in.
Yeah.
Like, it's hard to get past it, so I can't imagine, like, you know what I'm saying?
Actually growing up in it, like,
Yeah.
that transit. Because if you think about it, we grew up in a transition like that in technology.
Right.
We went from just house phones, no cell phones at all, to, you know, cell phones, big joints, the car phones, all that kind of stuff, all the way down to flip phones, and then smartphones, and to where we are now. And it's like, we remember when phones didn't have cameras.
Facts. I remember the first phone with the camera with 30-60-second videos, the Sprint, the Blue, Navy
You feel me?
Blue.
And it was definitely terrible,
Yeah.
terrible resolution, right? But
Yeah, I remember a time where I didn't know what a cell phone was. And they was out, you had the car phone, you had the huge side of the phone where it came with satellite box. But I didn't never see that because that wasn't in my neighborhood. I didn't find out what a cell phone was until my mother got one. And I just didn't understand it. I remember not understanding, like, I could call her anytime, anywhere.
But that's the difference with. So that's the same thing though. If you use that analogy, it's like, all right, we can remember like having a conversation with my son who's 19. He don't remember PlayStation 2 not existing. He don't remember a phone without a camera. So if I'm telling him the story from back in the day, he was, why you ain't texting? Why you ain't calling? He don't understand, like, we used to go to parties with ripped up pieces of paper and a pen in our pocket. We used to talk to the girls.
Right. Yes, and numbers. Writing a number on your hand and then
then-
get smudged, and you dialing every combination of the 4 digits to, you might look up and get it.
So
and
that's why
that's like with the COVID baby. It's like we're like 5, 6, 7 years from COVID, and there's some kids that don't know life before matters, life before standing this, like they're just like,
social distance. Yeah. So
But you know what's crazy when they say these other generations saw, because we went through so many pandemics and epidemics, but we didn't let it change the narrative of life for us. We went through terrorism, anthrax, we went through DC sniper, we went through Twin Towers, we went through, there was some type of smallpox. I know you ain't white boy, but I think you did. You seen that? That's crazy.
I thought it was
That's sidebar. Have you ever been in a conversation with somebody and they talk and spit fly out their mouth and land on you, but you trying to be respectful, so you wait for them to start. You like, But yeah, man, that's another episode of. Man, you wasn't there. Shut the fuck up. Yeah, man, we be back at y'all with this.
he said, did you do this?
Cause you did it slick. He was like,
I thought it was a net or something. I swear, I didn't know what it was.
Yeah, man. Open this sump for y'all, man. Just having conversations to open up, lighten up the mood, or, you know what I'm saying? Just have a conversation that y'all have, and y'all might wonder if people feel the same or think the same, man. Drop it in the comments. Let me know what you on with. Yeah.